the landlord who walks there walks alone. I called the landlord and explained to her that there was a leak and that there was a horrible stench coming from under the house. But you know how landlords are. What do you think she said? Well, you can see shadows and things that are very strange. Almost hands rising up from the earth to grab and torture us. The day she saw us moving out and said, "Oh, you're moving out, are you? Oh, praise the Lord, you destroyed my home." And I said, "Well, how did I destroy your house? By calling you and telling you there was a leak? And you've done nothing about it." "Ah, you're at fault because you live here." Well, we found a new place. A place with friends who had helped us before when we'd had issues like fires. Under the house, there was a horrible stench. We had to get away from it. The smell was intolerable. The standing water under the house was disgusting. Well, as it turned out, we had to call and have a junk service take about 80% of what we had and go and dump it. It was like having your home demolished, which was kind of what happened at the end of that Shirley Jackson novel. At least the nephew talked about it, and something about sowing the ground with salt, if I remember correctly. Well, we moved into a new, smaller home, but the aviary's there, and the birds are enjoying it. It was tough at first. They had to move into cages that were smaller, night cages basically. We had big cages that went into storage. And these guys had to learn to live in a smaller space, but they still got to go out. They're still getting to go out. The only thing is, of course, we're living in the desert area now, so they go out early in the morning and sometimes late at night, depending on the temperature. Today, for example, the temperature was about 100 degrees outside Fahrenheit. That's about 37 degrees Celsius. So, well. And then, of course, during all this move, I came down with a horrible flu that our two benefactors, where we're living, had. And so my voice is still kind of rough. Kind of perfect for this video, though. Yeah, so they're playing again. There's some issues. I mean, Lorelei has started plucking her feathers, and I've had to increase her dose of haloperidol. For a while, Lucy wasn't playing at all. She was just hanging on the side of her cage, looking lost. And she does have the smallest cage.
Beautiful song, Peaches.
And I'm working on that. Right now, she seems acclimated. She is playing, so that's good. Bob's been messing with his feathers a little. I've tested all the birds on haloperidol, so I know his reaction to it isn't terribly good. So I'm hoping that this goes by the wayside. If not, I've got to start with a terribly small dose, like 0.01 milliliters, and work up. Because he gets a little bit rowdy when he's on it. People think, well, you put him on a psychiatric drug, they're going to get calmer. No, that's not the way it works. Whatever their personality is, it tends to take away the fear of doing things that they haven't been able to do because of built-in restrictions, you could say. And when those restrictions are gone, you can have a bird that is really active, or you can have a bird that has been active because it was afraid and now is no longer active because they're not afraid. So it depends a lot on the actual bird's personality. But the other issues have been Sugar, for one, she started throwing her food bowls around, which isn't the greatest thing in the world. So I have to watch. I have to put an extra food bowl in her cage to make sure that she doesn't toss out her dry food. They were getting wet food twice a day, but now it's only once a day, and they get more dry food at night. And that seems to be working just fine. They love the aviary. They like coming out early in the morning, so that's a good thing. As you can see, they're playing right along. The boys and girls still come out separately, so you'll see Peaches out the whole time, but the rest of the birds, the females come out first, then the males come out, with two exceptions. Pippa is an honorary male, and Salamander is an honorary female, right? And I'm just the guy that gets beat on the head by Cecil, or pooped on, you know. But they're making a good transition, and it's a positive thing. They're doing well. There's little issues. One issue is that Romeo loved his big cage, and it's in storage. We can't fit one of those big cages in. The only big cage we were able to fit in was the one for Cecil, and the reason for that is any other cage he can get out of. Those old California cages were, you would think they were made by the penal system. You just can't get out of there, you know. The prison system must have made them, but they're nice cages too, so he enjoys them. But and then one bird wouldn't fit in the bird room, so Jasmine's in the dining area, and she loves it. She's constantly begging to come out and be with us, so she gets out a little more than the other birds. And I can justify that based on the fact that if she doesn't get out, she gets depressed. Where the other birds are playing, I go back and see them, you know, play with them during the day, and at night they get to go out sometimes. So it depends on the weather. Like today, it's still too hot to take them out, and it's already around 8:30 at night. So it depends. This is an area where it's been known to get to 150 and 120 in the summer. So fortunately, we're in a house that has solar, and it has a big, expensive cooling unit that keeps the place cool. So they're not wasting a lot of money paying for electricity. But like all the other places around here, it's got the big air conditioner that does the whole house, you know, whole house air conditioning and heating. But they all seem to be acclimating. There's little issues. Romeo doesn't have his big cage, so he's not too happy with me. It seems like anything that goes wrong, I'm the one that gets blamed. But he loves the lady here, so he will let her do anything. He'll let her trim his beak and do his nails and those kind of things, which he was allowing me to do before. But now he grunts at me. His greeting for me is when he sees her, he says, "I love you, I love you, I love you." Pippa's a little more aggressive than she was before, but that aggression will pass, I'm sure. She's normally not aggressive to males, but she's being a little aggressive. But I'll keep everybody updated on what's going on.
Hello, Peach.
When the moon is out and the raven calls, it says, "The landlord that walks alone, nevermore, nevermore."
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.